me know.
I will.
And if I send you the same grant more than once, I apologize.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Williston City Council. It is Tuesday, April the 19th at 6 p.m. And I will ask our city clerk, Ms. Wright, to please call the roll.
Mayor Goodman,
I'm here.
Council President Jones,
Here.
Vice President Robinson, Councilmember Cox,
Here.
Councilmember Bullock,
Here.
Councilmember Ross,
Here.
City Manager Gorman,
Here.
City Attorney Scott Walker, absent, Attorney Kirsten Ballou,
Here.
City Clerk Latricia Wright, here, and all other staff.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. We will stand at this time for the opening prayer and the pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I'm always comfortable with prayer. Lord, we meet here tonight, and I want to take a minute, just for a moment in time, to give thanks. Not to ask for, but just to give thanks for all that we as Americans have to be grateful for. Lord, we live in a country where we have rights that, according to our Constitution, were granted by you. And Lord, we thank you for that, and we give you praise for that. And Lord, I ask you now, as these people who have taken the time from their lives to serve the community, I ask that you give them all of the wisdom they need and the heart for the community that they should have to make the best decisions that they can make. And Lord, I ask you to bless this community, to keep it safe and to put a hedge of protection around it from the terrible things that we see happening in our country and in the world. And Lord, I ask you to go over our police officers who have one of the most dangerous occupations in our country, to place a hedge of protection around each and every one of them. Let them know that we as citizens of Williston are thankful to have them. And for our fire department, our fire officers, Lord, I just ask you to be with them, to guard them, and to give them the strength to do the jobs that they are asked to do. I ask all this in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 1 is our additions, deletions, changes, and approval of the agenda. I would say that the agenda is correct, but in your packet, there were 3 pages at the end that are not on this agenda. I don't know if you noticed that, but the agenda should end at page 58. So page 59 through 62 are something that is not on this agenda. So I don't know if that's called a correction or a deletion, but the agenda itself is correct. So if you will give me a motion either for a change as stated or for approval.
I move that we approve the agenda as changed.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we have item number 2, which is public participation. This is a time during this meeting, one of 2 times, that you have the opportunity to come to the podium and talk to us for up to 5 minutes about something that is not on our agenda. So if you have something at this time, please come to the podium. If you will, state your name and city of residence.
Hello, I'm Bessie Boatwright. I live here in Williston. I'm actually outside of Williston. I want to share with you today, or this evening, information regarding an affordable housing workshop that will be conducted on May the 19th at the Levy County Government Complex over in Bronson. As part of the Levy County Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, I'm really happy to be able to bring this information to Williston and to some of the other, and to the other municipalities. This is the first time we've had an opportunity to do this, and we are extremely excited about it because we know home ownership just brings so much joy to folks, and it helps with our tax rolls, and you know, it even allows some folks to get jobs. So it impacts our entire community. So persons or groups that we've invited include the Florida Housing Coalition, and they provide technical assistance to the government, local governments, and to people how to participate in the funding process, how to manage the grants. Rebuilding Together is a nonprofit 501c3 out of the Alachua County area, and they're actually very good with helping to provide essential repairs and revitalizing communities, working with local governments to assist in long-term recovery after disasters. And I think revitalizing communities is probably the most important thing that they do. The Central Florida Community Action Agency has been around Levy County for a number of years, and they provide some rehab services. I'm excited that Habitat for Humanity is coming to Levy County to provide a presentation. We're hoping that that is something that we can get on board with. It allows families and communities to invest with a little sweat equity, and we know that that's good sometimes to actually have some involvement in the building process. And the Neighborhood Housing and Development Corporation, they're coming as well, and these folks provide education for our citizens, how to become homeowners, how to manage your credit, you know, how to qualify for loans and that kind of stuff. We'll also have some folks there from the local banks who provide loans at different levels for different folks depending on what their situations are. So excited we are. We're hoping that there will be someone there from the government here in Williston to represent Williston. I know Mr. Brooks already heard my little dog and pony show this morning. He was at the county commission meeting. But we're excited. I'm excited about this, and I'm hoping I can get some support from Williston. I guess my question will be, how can we publicize this? Is this something you could perhaps put on the utility bills at the bottom as info? How does that work? How can we get the information out?
It's mighty quick for a utility bill, but I think we could get it on there if we do it really quick. Do we have time to get it on? I don't. Yeah, I think
Okay.
utility bills.
Right, we have until tomorrow to get it on the utility bill.
I'm sorry to say who's talking. That's what.
Hey.
Okay, I'm looking everywhere trying to figure
I'm
it out.
trying to find where that voice is on.
Okay.
We can get it on the utility bill if we get it. If you wanna give me the flyer tonight, I'll get it
Awesome.
I'll send an email tonight.
I knew it was really
I
close.
love it. Thank you so much.
And what time is it, Jesse?
Yes, I'm sorry. It starts at 9 a.m. and we're hoping that we're going to be out of there by 12:30. There will be lunch provided. And again, this information is being disseminated across the county. So we've got interest from Cedar Key and all the areas. So I'm just really hoping next week I'll take this over to Chiefland, and hopefully we'll get some buy-in from them as well. But all of our municipalities stand to gain from this workshop. Any questions about the workshop? I have one other item, and I'm down to 47 seconds. So this is it. We are working on pulling together a group of individuals that will help us to categorize or to provide a comprehensive list of activities for children during the summer. Okay? So I'm looking at a town hall meeting sometime toward the end of May. I know Mr. Bullock over here is kind of committed to working with us. We've got some other folks in the community chief role. So we're already rolling on it. So you'll be hearing more about that as we push forward. We're just looking to keep our kids busy.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they're not busy, then we have to get Chief Roll and the sheriff involved, and we want to prevent that
Absolutely.
at all costs. Okay?
Thank you for that.
I've got some flyers if you all would like one.
Leave us some, yes.
Okay.
And make sure Laura gets one, so
I
she
will.
can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else for this participation at this time? I saw a couple of people moving out there. Anybody else at this time? We do have one other occasion. Come on, you're good.
Good evening, it's an honor to be here tonight. I just wanted to take a quick minute to introduce myself. My name's Jason Whistler, and I'm currently running for Levy County Property Appraiser's Office. I've been there 22 years. Boss has, our property appraiser, Osmond Barker, passed away last year, so this is to finish out his term. So it will be a 2-year term on the ballot, August 23rd. Like I said, I've been there 22 years now. There are 2 other candidates besides myself running, so there's a total of 3 of us at this point. But other than that, I just wanted to take a quick minute to introduce myself, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. We've definitely seen your signs. It's nice to put a face to it. Thank you very much. Anybody else for this particular time? Okay, then if not, we will move on to item number 3, which is our consent agenda, which consists of the council meeting minutes of April the 5th. I'll entertain a motion for approval if you so please.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of April 5th, 2022.
Thanks, sir. I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 4 is old business, and we will start with the city manager, Jackie Gorman's update.
Good evening, everyone. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Not really.
Hello?
Gotta turn it on.
I have it on. Okay, I'll talk loud. First of all, is Jen online? Is Jennifer online?
Nope.
She's not on with you?
Nope.
Well, I wanted everybody to say goodbye because it's her last day tomorrow.
Oh, my.
And, Friday with the city, but she'll be here tomorrow in person. She's been with us for a while. She does work for Infomark, but she's part of our city family. And I just wanted to have a chance for everybody to say goodbye to her. So I'm sorry she's not tuning in tonight, but she's going on to bigger and better things in Charlotte. So, anyway, we wish her well. The second thing is, I passed out to everyone on the dais this newsletter. What's happened is, I'm getting a lot of inquiry from the public wanting to know what's going on, and I know we've been trying to update council monthly, and it gets to be repetitive. Ms. Marguerite brought that to our attention last time. It's like, you're saying the same thing. I'm like, well, yeah, we are, because we're still doing it, and we didn't want it out of sight or out of mind. So, we're not gonna do it anymore. We're gonna do it quarterly. And that will go out to everybody, and that will be in your utility bill. That's what this is, front and back, and give everybody all the information out there on what we do. We're gonna start featuring on the front, probably after this first one, talk about departments and what they're responsible for, and a did you know column, and an opportunity for folks to get to know us a little better and what our departments are responsible for. So we wanted this to be a positive, because we do a lot of really good things here. We just don't want everybody out there to hear all the bad stuff, because we're really working hard to bring our city up and do good things. And I think this, you read the backside of this, you'll see a whole list of things that we're doing right. So we wanted to share that information, so that may not, it depends on whether I can get this in the utility bill this month also. So it'll be quarterly to everybody, and council will get it, and our citizens will get it, and I think it's a good thing. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will start with the staff. Is there anybody on staff at this moment that has anything that's not on the agenda? Chief Rose.
I don't mind saying anything.
Turn that microphone on there just so the thing will pick you up.
Just real quick, I just want to give a couple little updates from the police department. We had a burglary in progress down at the old pawn shop down here. I just want to congratulate the 3 officers that was involved in that. They did a great job of apprehending those subjects. They arrested 3 people. They collected all the property that was taken and returned it. So I want to congratulate them and give them, recognition for a job well done.
Perfect.
Yeah, and it was a burglary in progress that they discovered. It wasn't one that got called in. They drove up on it
Wow.
and caught the people burglarizing the pawn shop, made their arrest. Detective Warren got involved. They ended up arresting 3 people, collecting the property, and returning it back to the owner. So great job by those officers. So I just wanted to give them their notice and give them their recognition for a great job done. Officer Living Good, which is the last new officer we brought in, the female officer that we introduced to the council. I want to report that she has completed her FTO program, and she's now in a solo status, so she's now out on the road serving and protecting the citizens of Williston on her own. So, congratulations to her for a job well done in completing that program. Also, we sold the vehicles that we had up for the solid bid. All the vehicles were sold except for your rescue truck. The total amount collected for the sale of those vehicles was $12,838. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention too, and just give you a brief update of some of the things that are happening at the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to hear those things. Anybody else from staff that's not on the agenda at this moment? I see whispering. Anybody got anything back there? Nope? Okay. All right, then we will move to, I see Mr. Fuller, but I do not see Mr., it says CRA, but I do not see Mr. Williams.
I apologize, but I meant to take the CRA off for this
Okay.
month. I also took off planning and zoning and base for this month because they're not meeting until May,
Okay,
and I didn't want to bore you with information that's going to come in 6 weeks.
wonderful. Okay, then I'll ask the council if they have anything at this time. Do you have anything, Mr. Ross?
Yes, street sign down there at where you turn it to Cemetery Road, gone.
Ooh,
It's been gone for quite some time. A car hit that stop sign. Now, the stop sign was replaced, but the street marker, which was, 6th Avenue, disappeared.
okay.
And, I don't know if that's county or city there, but we
It's
need to,
6, it's us. Yeah,
need to get it replaced.
at least that end of it is ours, the other end is not, but just that end is. And you guys put that on your work order, we appreciate that. Anything else, Mr. Ross?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Bullock? Mr. Mayor? Not at this time? Ms. Robinson?
I do. The retention pond at Popeye, are we having problems again with that?
Still.
Still. Well, it emptied out at one time, but now it's full again and it's not draining. Can we check into that, Mr. Utility Man?
Yes, ma'am.
Wherever you are, I know the little top of heads there. Thank you. Also, airport sign. There's one coming with the airline, and it says airport when you're coming
Into town.
into town, but going towards the airport, there is none.
Do we know what happened to it?
I think it got hit.
So it got destroyed?
So it's in somebody's house.
Potentially.
On display?
I can check with the county on that sign.
Please,
Yes,
because,
ma'am.
thank you. Also, the, slide out at John Henry Park, has that been fixed, or has there been a claim
Yes, ma'am, there's been a claim and it's working through the insurance process as we speak.
still?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all.
And as far as the airport signs, I've talked to DOT already and they're going to replace them. I'm just waiting for them to give me an ETA when they'll do it.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's all. I'm done. Check, check.
Speaking of airport signs, is there any way that, we could look at doing like a tenant sign out by the road?
We've talked about doing that from time to time. We've talked about putting up a marquee and having people pay to put their name up, or at least pay for the sign to put their name up.
We could probably end up doing some of that with, some of the timber sales money that we have. I can talk to Steven and see what we have available and then get a couple of quotes on some different signs for different people here and there.
Sounds great.
That way there, to let people know that there are, actually are businesses back there.
We have talked about that from time to time. Maybe we can actually accomplish it.
And if we can, we'll work that in next year's budget, that's good.
Sounds good. Anything else, Mr. Cobb? Do you have anything at this time, Ms. Blue?
Well, the Zamora property, our office manager is working on putting together a, itemized billing of all of the fees that we incurred, for that foreclosure, and we should have them, to Jackie and Laura very soon, so that we can go about putting that up for, bid.
Terrific. Ms. Wright, do you have anything at this time? Not yet? Okay. All right, then we will move to new business, if nobody else in staff has anything. New business discussion with possible action, changing election date to April. Ms. Jones from the Supervisor of Elections Office. As I told you at our last meeting, I asked her to come back. And I did that because I think, as we all saw at our contested election that we had this past March, I don't know what we would have done without her. She was a lot of help, her people were a lot of help, and I don't know what we'd have done without her. It was a very good display for us to reassess, and we're glad to have you tonight.
Sure, thank you, I appreciate that. And I'm always here to support the cities, so I don't want people worrying that we can't do it if, you know, if we manage multiple cities on one day. So again, I appreciate that, President Jones. But I am back again today. As you might recall, I was here last year. We are asking again if it's possible for Williston to move their election to what we're gonna call a unified Levy County Municipal Election Day. Having city elections throughout the whole entire year, over the past 28 years, over time it's become, you know, kind of cumbersome with new city clerks and city managers, and I want to help, and I do help, but it's become a challenge. And I do think overall it's a benefit for everyone, because I think it's a benefit for the voters, because there'll be less voter confusion. We can really get the message out that all municipalities in the county have elections on the same day. It ensures that we have the supplies for you to provide voting equipment and that sort of thing if we have it on the same day. Also, it unifies the cities with a timeline. I'm providing extensive timelines to the cities because election laws are kind of complicated, so especially with all the changes constantly. So I am willing to provide an extensive timeline to help guide the cities with when they should be issuing ballots and all that sort of thing out. So I already started kind of doing that this year. I'm going to work harder and make it better, bigger and better as time goes on. I just think the communication between the city clerks, they become friends and they can communicate a little bit better too with the unified date. I'm planning on offering, I already provide training to the city clerks, a once-a-year training, but I'm planning on doing advanced training, multiple sessions of training. I'm having the canvassing boards come in for training in my office, have all the cities come together and talk to the canvassing board about what their duties are election night. So those are sorts of things that I'm, in my mind, envisioning in the future. Currently, we have 4 municipalities that have agreed to move their elections, and that is Bronson, Cedar Key, Chiefland, and Otter Creek. So we got halfway down to half gone. So we're down to Williston, Yankeetown, Inglis, and Fanning. I'm not as concerned with Fanning and Yankeetown. They do not use our equipment, so that is not as big of a concern for me for cities that don't use our equipment. However, it would still be nice to move forward with that. One thing that we ran into this year, I know Latricia can attest to, qualifying in such a short time. We currently have Williston qualifying 50 to 46 days prior to the election, and the deadline for UOCAVA ballots is 45 days. So if you look at the green sheet I gave you, that was this year's city's election vote by mail schedule, and you can see January 15th was the mail day for UOCAVA ballots. Guess when qualifying ended? The 14th, the day before. So we were, you know, we missed the mark when we say we, the city, you know, so that's a bad thing. We don't want to hurt our military UOCAVA people by missing the mark of getting that out by the deadline. I don't think it's any legal thing that's wrong. You know, I mean, I'm not saying legally you've done anything wrong, but I just feel like we need to do due justice for our military and UOCAVA people that serve overseas. So But I'm always, I don't want you to worry that moving elections is gonna be harmful. I'm gonna have plenty of staff trained up to be there, you know, by phone or in person, wherever needed. So, I don't want you to think that my assistance will not be provided just because I'm, you know, having multiple cities that we would juggle, but we're already doing that anyways. So, I just would ask for you to reconsider, that move forward, and if so, I know it has to be done through ordinance change, so, if you would be willing to, I don't know how you would like to proceed.
And it's the first Tuesday in April.
So if you were to proceed next year, I looked at the calendar, it would be April 4th.
April 4th.
4/4 next year.
I know the last time you were here, it would have been really hard for us to accomplish it by the election date.
Right.
This time, since we just had the election, I think that we'd be able to do that on the next one. How do y'all feel about it? Everybody okay with it? Okay, so do you happen to have an ordinance that we can go by, or you just?
Yes, I can send you, just tell me I need your card. I can send you, Chiefland's ordinance, Cedar Keys ordinances, and all four of that have changed recently.
Okay.
So you can kind of mix and mingle how you want to do it from that.
I have a question.
I believe in sharing.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know that 4 of the 8 municipalities have currently agreed to this, and that means 4 have not, and you named them off. I have 2 questions, actually. First is the plan to whatever municipalities do agree with it, go ahead and unite them with the change, and the ones that do not agree with it, just don't get that change, they continue on the way they're going?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's your charter, so you all make the decision. I'm just here recommending it. So it's your charter, it's your city, you know, you're representing your city, so it's really what you think is best for your citizens.
And I know you're gonna answer this, that you have no problem, but I wanna make sure it's clear. One of the things that concerns me is all of these elections at the same time. Is that going to stretch your office beyond the ability to do the wonderful job you did at the last election?
Well, I'm gonna provide more extensive canvas and board training, making sure the canvas and board knows their exact duties with a detailed description of what their job duties are election night, working with Latricia more, and if I'm not exactly here election night, you know, I don't know if you know this, but before I was elected, the elections offices, we did not attend. I mean, for most of you, you know, we weren't here election night. I provided that service, so I've kind of spoiled everybody in a way. So, you know, we provide the equipment, so I really feel, I'm really here for the equipment, but I actually provide more service than just the equipment.
I know this.
So,
my question is about the equipment.
are we gonna be
Do we have
Yeah.
sufficient equipment to service all of those municipalities?
Yes, because currently we have 13 precincts, and we have 8 cities. And the chances of all 8 cities going in, and plus all of them actually having elections the same day, is gonna be very unlikely, so we definitely have enough equipment.
Okay.
And our problem was too, if we remained in March, we were gonna end up in the middle of the presidential primary.
Right.
And then there would not be enough equipment.
I've borrowed equipment in the past, but with all the, you know, the worry with the equipment, and I don't wanna ask another county for me to borrow their equipment. I feel like it's inappropriate too. So I've done that in the past to make sure Williston had equipment and Inglis had equipment, but moving forward, I'm not gonna put that on another county taking possession of their equipment. I know it's safe, because you're dealing with election people to election people, but I think from a public perception, I think that would, not be good moving
Well,
forward.
especially during a presidential.
Right, and I need that equipment. We're literally trying to
We're
juggle.
gonna need it as much as anybody.
Right. But,
Any other questions for Ms. Jones? Okay, so we will ask Ms. Ballou and Ms. Jones to communicate with each other and bring us back something for another agenda. That work? All right. Yeah. And if that's the case, we will move to new business item number B, discussion with possible action, adding a 4-way stop at intersection of Northeast First Street and Northeast Fourth Avenue. I understand Ms. Moxley may be online. And Mr. Mills is telling me that she is.
You'll have to unmute your mics, Dana.
Is she there?
She's there, she has to get her mic unmuted.
Trying to get her mic on. Okay, for the record, in my brain, Northeast First Street is the street behind Kids and Company.
You'll have to unmute your mic on your end now.
And Fourth Street is, I think, is that where Dr.
Yep.
Schwiebert's office goes down?
Right, that's I mean, that intersection
Yeah.
is southeast corner.
So it's really where the tiny homes are.
No.
No, ma'am, it's between the Kids and Company and the wooded lot next to
I
it.
was talking. It is Kids and Company, so it's down by the Presbyterian Church.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
By the wooded, no, ma'am, actually, I'm wrong. Next intersection down by the wooded lot.
The next one down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The Presbyterian Church is right there on the south side with the four-way stop. This is the next lot west.
Okay, so it's the one farther toward 121.
Yes, ma'am, front with the,
Behind her playground.
the acres property used to be, where they, Armstrong put all the houses in it.
Yeah.
Should have intersection.
Okay. All right, so is her mic working?
I can't get any audio out of her, so I'm gonna try to call her.
Do you want to translate for her?
Not really.
Not really?
I can put her on the phone and connect her.
I think Donald, she's muted.
No, but she has to unmute on her end.
What?
After she wants staff to state her case. Oh, he's on the phone with her now.
I gotta try to call her, but I can't.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Barber.
Mrs. Moxley contacted us and asked us to put up a sign, and our response was that Public Works would be glad to facilitate that if the council had that as a wish. We thought it was inappropriate for us to make that determination based on traffic studies and all those types of things. So we really wanted input from Chief and see what PD thought about that, and then let you all make the decision. So we encourage her to see Latricia and get on the agenda. So that's the only conversation we had with her.
I can tell you, people that tell me that they want a change in traffic pattern or whatever, I always send them first to the police department, because I also want their opinion on the matter. I have another one that somebody has also talked to me about that I haven't had the opportunity to talk to them about yet.
Hey Dana, it's Aaron. I was trying to get you on the phone, get you connected to this meeting.
Chief Stroh, have you done any traffic assessments at that particular intersection?
I've had one traffic complaint from Mr. Lewis at the, it's Third and First.
Yep.
I've sat for, hours, total several different times, and I've written one ticket. It's not a high volume road. We're kind of shooting from the hip without any, data to look at and monitor it.
So you had no traffic assessments for that particular incident?
I worked one from the south side of it, right by the Presbyterian Church, and I had one run stop sign on the road ticket. She was leaving work and was.
Thank you, Chief. Make him speak up.
I worked the intersection at Third and First, in front of the Presbyterian Church, responded to a traffic complaint. Over a period of several days, I sat there probably 3 hours with one violation. And I think probably what she's concerned about is the speed of the vehicle, I would assume. So you have basically, going northbound, you have a stop sign, and then this next intersection is 1 block away. Coming southbound, you will not have any traffic stop signs from 121 until you get to the Third, which is 1 block south of this intersection.
I wonder if does anybody know if she's had any, can you talk to her?
No, I didn't get an answer on the cell phone, and she's still muted.
Okay, so, I guess we'll table it until we can get her input, unless somebody else has.
And I would ask the police department, do you have no mechanisms for doing assessments on particular intersections?
We do not have a traffic count machine. We don't have a machine that can count the traffic.
We do have a speed trailer, but the speed trailer cannot record the vehicle speeds. It just shows you this is your speed and this is the speed limit.
And does it count the number of vehicles?
No, sir.
So we do not have any equipment at this time that can do a count assessment
Do you have something?
other
John?
than putting an officer there and having them sit.
Okay. I'll just check, with Public Works, they do not have anything. To my knowledge, there's not been a traffic accident at that intersection that I can remember.
And I'm not sure that that's her complaint either. I mean, if her complaint is too much.
She's told me that there's been a wreck at that corner, and the car actually slid into their fence when kids are out there playing.
If that could happen, I just don't recall it, but, it's like I say, one block south of there, you do have a four-way stop.
Okay, Ms. Gorman.
We have the ability to get traffic counts. The county's great, you know, we have to call them, and they'll put a count on it for us, if that's the problem.
It doesn't sound like it's the problem.
I'm not
But
sure
if
it's policy.
you need the dual part where you have the traffic count with the speed, and I don't know if they have that ability.
Probably not. Okay, so, and I know she's not here today because her daughter has come home from the hospital today. Although, you know, she was severely injured, and she's come home today, which is the reason she is not here. And it's very understandable.
How about if we table it until we can?
That's what I would suggest.
Instead of second guessing
Yeah,
what she's
I really
doing.
wanna know what the problem is, and if whether or not the stop sign will help it.
Right.
I know, but will that help
Right.
the issue? We don't know what the issue is. And if we can get y'all to look at if there was a traffic accident in that corner, what caused it?
If I can ask that you give her my contact information, extension 103, have her contact me and I'll get details and we'll work through it, see if we can help her. Whatever issue.
Either that or the police department, and we'll do the traffic
Do you
study.
wanna do it?
I think they should.
If it's
Not
between
you.
now and Friday, yes,
Not
after
you.
Friday,
April, do you want to do it, or do you want me to gather information for you? How do you want to handle it?
I don't mind us working together on it. I mean, we can
Great
have,
answer.
we can have an officer go out there and monitor it, as well as adding that device there too, so we can get the status together.
How about if I have her call me and we'll get a phone conference?
You have your friends call my friends, and then we'll
call
meet.
my friends. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you. If you would, Aaron, just ask her to call here and ask for me, and I'll arrange all of that.
I don't know if you heard or not, just call City Hall,
When they
yes,
do.
for
Are you talking to her?
City Manager,
That's why I was
extension
talking.
103, Jackie, she,
Well, he said he didn't have her a while ago.
No.
She
with
must
you,
be back.
no,
She can't talk back.
Oh,
She's on there, we can see her number, but she can't talk.
can she hear him?
Yes.
Okay.
well, she may not have a microphone on her computer,
Oh, that's
maybe
very
that
good.
simple. She
All
may
right,
not.
so we're gonna table that for now. Ms. Wright, if you'll make sure that gets back on our agenda for next time. All right, at this time, we're gonna open a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 2022-695, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Williston, Florida, adopting an amended fee schedule relating to the Williston Municipal Airport, repealing all ordinance in conflict and providing an effective date. Mr. Stegall.
Yes, ma'am, this is just the second reading of this particular ordinance. We'll update the fee schedule for the airport, bringing it more in line with the industry standard, and increasing revenue for the airport.
Okay, we did read this at our previous meeting. Because it is a public hearing, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience who has any comment to make about this. Or any questions for Mr. Siegel or this council? If not, I will ask the council what their wishes are.
I move that we approve ordinance 2022-695.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion from anyone?
Madam President, if I may briefly.
Yes, please.
I know that at the last meeting, we had discussed potentially, changing this ordinance so that we could have the ordinance say something like the fees will be determined by resolution every year or whenever the city decides to do that.
Yes.
If we do want to make those amendments, we'll have to go back to first reading. Alternatively, I can draft an additional ordinance after this that says that. But I did just want to put that out there, I do remember it.
Thank you so much. Yes, and what she's talking about is, if we put the fee schedule in the ordinance, we have to change it by ordinance every time, which means 2 readings and an advertisement in the paper. If we do it by resolution, we can change it at a public hearing in a meeting, without having to pay for the advertisement, essentially. Is it time sensitive, you want to change it by a certain date?
June first is all.
June first, so do you want us to wait for the amended change? That would be 2 readings, so that would put us at the end of May.
I don't particularly have any problem with it being done by ordinance like this. I mean, if it's the council, if the council wants to bring it back and do, set the precedent for a resolution action, I don't mind being the test bed for that, I guess, but,
Yeah, we would, I myself would like to put the fee schedule in a resolution, so that we don't have to do an ordinance every time you wanna change the prices.
yes, ma'am.
I don't know how anybody else feels about that. We did talk about it at our last meeting.
We did,
Yes, ma'am.
in 30 days, this will go into effect, and it will meet his needs, to meet his deadline, right, by June 1st.
Yes.
So whatever comes after that's not gonna affect these people.
Right.
So we can still amend it and do the resolution and not interrupt him with this.
Well, we also have 2 May meetings that we could do it.
Right, I mean, but what I'm
Right.
saying is, if you adopt this, which you need to anyway, right?
Not if we're gonna change it.
You don't have to. As my understanding, you have to adopt it by ordinance first and then do a resolution, change the resolution from here on out.
We would have to do an ordinance that states it, yes, and that refers to the fee schedule.
Right, so you have a couple of options, I guess maybe a few, and I'll lay them out. Option 1 is we can approve this ordinance now, and then do nothing afterwards, and then this will be the fee schedule until we change it with another ordinance. Option 2 is we can approve this now, and then I can draft another ordinance that says we're going to have our fee schedule, enacted by resolution from now on, and that's how we'll do it, and then I'll bring that ordinance to you all, and you can pass that, and in the meantime, this will be in effect. Option 3 is we do none of those things, and we don't accept this ordinance, and we don't change anything, and we keep the current fees.
Boy, that was concise.
I like option 2.
Well, the way she laid it out, I see there's another option. I see there's another option, is that we stop where we are, and you go back and do it with an ordinance referring to a fee schedule, and the fee schedule is a resolution.
Yes, that's true.
That's actually the way I had it in my brain. And that way, we pass the ordinance referring to the fee schedule and the resolution for the fee schedule. But either one, and we can do either one by June 1st.
Would there be a cost, an advertising cost, if we did this and then the council chose to do a new ordinance?
At this point, even if you, say you accept this ordinance and then you do a new ordinance, it will be the same cost as if you do not accept this ordinance and do a new ordinance.
That's my
Because you're
question.
doing 2
Specifically,
advertisements.
there's no cost
Same
savings
cost.
in not doing this ordinance and putting it off.
Correct.
It will cost exactly the same. The end result will be exactly the same. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not exactly, but okay.
Well, I asked her.
The end
If
result,
it's not exactly, have her explain why it's not.
the end result would be the same, it's just a matter of time.
Yes, but the timing would even be the same. Is that accurate?
Except a year from now, if we wanna change the prices, we have to do it all over again.
If we go ahead and accept this, make this ordinance, and then adopt a new ordinance, changing it to resolution in the next 2 meetings, nothing has changed. Is that
Effectively,
accurate?
yes, yes.
Okay.
If we get the other ordinance passed.
That takes the fee schedule out of it. And only refers to the ordinance, the resolution as a fee schedule.
Right, so whatever ordinance that we've decided on going with for the foreseeable future will be enacted, no matter which way we choose to do it by June 1st. I thought that that's what the question was, and that is my answer to that specific
I'm
question.
not sure what his question was. And I don't care what we do, as long as we later take it out, because I think that's what we should do. If not, we're gonna be advertising it for 5 minutes. I'll entertain a motion, if that's what you prefer to do. If not, we can send it back and write the ordinance referring to the fee schedule and an accompanying resolution with the fee schedule in it. So, what would you like to do?
Did I have a motion on the floor? I had a motion on the floor and a second originally, yeah.
Okay, so, yes, you did, I remember. All right. So,
I don't know, I can't remember.
I guess it was accepted as it is.
Yes.
So, all right, so all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
do want to revisit it, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I thought that's what we were going to do. I thought that we were bringing back the amended ordinance with a resolution for this meeting.
Right, we
So that's
can't,
what we discussed at the last meeting.
right, but I think where we left off at the last meeting was that I don't think that we can make that substantive change between first and second reading. If we make a substantive change, it'll have to come back for first reading.
That's what we're going to do. Which we could have done. Yes, okay. All right, we're moving then, we're going to close the public hearing, and we're going to move into item D, which is resolution 2022-17, a resolution for the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, relating to the City Charter Review Committee, establishing a Charter Review Committee, appointing members to the Charter Review Ad Hoc Committee, consisting of 7 persons for the purpose of reviewing and making recommendations to the mayor and council regarding the existing charter of the City of Williston, Florida, repealing all resolutions in conflict and providing an effective date. I will say that this is the first time that we have seen this, and we've talked in theory about having a charter review committee. I myself am not ready to name my person. Don't know if you are or not. I guess in concept.
I've got a question. It's a person that lives within city limits?
Absolutely. That's what it says in.
And I believe there was a charter review committee years ago.
Yeah, I think about 10 or 12 years ago. And another one before that even that I can remember as well.
Gotcha.
So I guess first of all, do we accept this ordinance and this concept? Does everybody think we need one, a charter review committee?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, yes, sir.
Thank you. The wording of the ordinance gives me pause, because there is no definition, and I hope I'm turned on. Am I turned on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because there is no definition of the method to appointing the 7 persons
There is in the
in the ordinance.
In the packet.
In the resolution.
What is the makeup of the 7 persons? Is there so many from this segment, so many from that segment?
Each one of us appoints one person of our
Okay.
liking, and then together we choose somebody.
So that is, each one of us, the 5 of you,
And yourself.
and myself, that's 6.
And
then we have 1 left.
That we all agree on.
And so the appointment will be strictly up to the council and the mayor,
Right.
and the 7th person will be a vote
Somebody we agree upon.
that we agree upon, and there's no input from the citizens who this board will come from, is that correct?
That's why another reason I wanted to table it for tonight.
Okay, good.
Is because
I'm all for tabling
I
it,
want-
because I don't like the makeup of it.
Well, I'm not sure who I would, why would you not like the makeup of it?
Because I wanna know
We don't know the makeup of it yet.
exactly my point.
I mean, it's gonna be who you want, and who you want, and who you want, and who I want. who
And
you
what
want.
about who they want?
Well, they're gonna tell you who they want, that's why we're gonna table it, so they can tell you. They can come to you and tell you they wanna be on it. Or you can talk to someone and ask them if they wanna be on it. I haven't asked anybody.
I haven't either.
They can,
Because,
yeah, it's up to them.
We
They
have
wanna
to
come
agree in
us.
concept, this is the first time we've seen this. That's what I mean, I don't think any of us are ready to appoint somebody. But I think we all, and if you'll read it, it also says that that 7th person helps us work for diversity. I don't think that's the word it uses, but that's pretty much what it means.
Concept, yeah.
Yeah, that's the concept of it, to make sure that everyone is represented. Can you find me that part? There it is, right there.
There you go.
It talks about how they appoint. I think you're gonna have to go back a little bit. Let me find it. It's that seventh person, find me that part.
I think it's down further.
Yeah, composed of 7 city residents in the city of Williston to be appointed by the city council in the following manner. The mayor and each council member shall appoint one person to said committee, and as the council shall appoint one additional member at large to reflect the cross-section of the city. So if we don't ourselves appoint somebody that reflects the cross-section of the city, we as a body need to make sure we do. And it's up to us who we choose.
Now, will those individuals come in and tell us why they want to be on the board?
Yes, they have to meet as many times as they feel like they need to, and then they give us a report.
No, but I'm talking about when we all bring somebody here.
To interview them?
Well, not interview them, but tell us why they would, why.
You mean the seventh person?
According to this,
individual.
you just
No,
appoint the
you
person,
choose the
whoever you
person,
choose.
boss, who thinks represents what we need to hear from a charter review.
Sure.
And a lot of people have never read the charter, so that's gonna help, whoever you choose, that's a good opportunity for them to read it.
And if I may suggest that we have a packet ready for whoever's interested, so they can really understand what this is.
Are they gonna have the whole charter book? Each one of them?
It's really not all that long.
It's not all the meaning of it, it's just the beginning of it, talking about the makeup and the.
Yeah, the charter itself is only, what, 15 pages or so? It's not really big, but it's got a lot of substantive.
So we can put something together for them.
Yeah. So, and that's what it says, that then they will meet, if you'll roll it down a little bit farther, Latricia, I appreciate it. It says that they will meet, and they will bring a final report. They'll meet as many times as they want to. They have public forums to let other people come and tell them what they think. And I remember them having it before. They had open meetings, and anybody who wanted to come put their input in and what they thought the charter needed to be changed to got to come and tell what they thought it needed to be. And then they are to prepare a final report and deliver it to the mayor and the city council. Obviously, everything they suggest, we get to review. We pick the things we think are good and would be beneficial, because a lot of them know how the city works and some of them don't. But what we do is we have to put all of it on the ballot. Every charter amendment has to be passed by referendum by the citizens of the city of Williston. So there's no, it's not something we're gonna do.
I understood you.
Yeah. I just want everybody else to know.
Okay, so when everybody got a packet, no one on the council went to somebody or to ask if they wanted to be on the charter review?
I haven't. I wanted to make sure that y'all were in favor of doing this, since it's the first time you've ever laid eyes on it before.
Oh, when we got the packet, yeah.
Yeah.
I will need a packet.
You want me to packet?
I guess so.
On your laptop is a packet.
You wanna come
Open
and
up
get
your
on my
laptop.
laptop and show me that? Because that laptop is an enigma to me.
I'll find it in there. So it's already in there?
Prefer a printed packet? Yes, it is.
Okay.
And on the agenda, it tells you, what page.
Pages 13, or no, 13 through 15.
Yes, page 13 through 15. If you look on page 13 through 15 of your packet, it will give you these documents.
If I could suggest something, before you all leave tonight, I can give you some information. I took a course on Thursday about charter review, and I'll put that out for you all review it. So you have an idea how they chose their members.
That's great. That's what we need to know.
Perfect.
All right, so Mr. Fuller.
I'm interested in the process, more so than just the selection, but in terms of putting these 7 people together, will they be given guidance or training or something to help them come up with something that is more intelligible than just putting 7 people together and say, suggest changes? So
I
somehow
think
there should.
Ms. Wright, just, you can.
Yes, sir, I have ordered, 7 workbooks that outline what a charter review committee does and the steps that they have to go through, plus the attorney will be guiding them.
Okay, that helps. Because I'm sure since the charter was reviewed before, there's probably also changes in laws that need to be
Oh,
looked
sure.
at.
Yeah, there are, absolutely.
Like all other boards, they will work closely with the city attorney.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so, as you sit here, if you are a resident of the city of Williston and you're interested in serving on this committee, make sure you let somebody know. All right, are you ready to table it and see it next meeting, and be ready to appoint your person at that time? I think we're all in agreement with that. Okay. You in agreement with that?
I'm not voting on this. This is council.
Well, it is, but you get to appoint a person.
Oh, I'm fully willing to appoint a person if the council elects to pass this resolution.
And here's what I would suggest. I would suggest that we all do a really good review of the charter itself, and that we see things that we think, as somebody who sat here and has dealt with the charter and the ordinance and the resolutions that go with it, where we've run into things or bumped into things where we think it might need to be changed. When you appoint your person, obviously, the first thing you do is tell them where you think it needs to be changed. And the same with the public hearing that will happen. People will come, if we can get them to read the charter. That's what we have to do. We have to get them to read the charter so they know what needs to be done. And, you know, we've discussed some things from time to time that we know need to be done, are things that could be done. Not necessarily need to be done, but things that could be done. So make sure your person that you appoint at least has the same frame of mind and knows where you're going with what you think needs to be done. And will represent you well and the city of Williston well on that committee. And obviously, they're gonna come up with things of their own as well as they read it.
And that they're able to make the meeting.
Right? Yes, and they'll give us a report in section so-and-so, we think this needs to be done. And I know that when we had it before, the first thing they did was appoint a chairman. And the chair conducted the meeting, and the chair also brought the report back. So, you know, it's just as simple as.
How long ago was that, did you say?
I think it's been 10 to 12 years.
2005.
2005? Thank you. Thank you. And I can actually remember one before that too, but it was a while ago.
How many meetings do they have?
It's up to
Whatever it takes.
the committee.
Yeah.
Normally, from the class that I took on Thursday, some of them met every week or either once a month. And it always depends on what the council wants them to review and how it's intended to do.
And in the past, we had contractors, we had attorneys, we had all kinds of people that were on it. And some of them definitely knew what they wanted to do when they sat down in the chair to discuss it. And some of them didn't have a clue because they hadn't read it yet. So that's what I mean, just think real hard about who you think will represent you and the people of Williston as they come to the table.
And the first thing that they will have to do is take a course on the sunshine law and records.
Oh, that's hard.
I think you.
I mean, it's so hard to get somebody to do that,
But they have-
unless they've already taken it for some reason.
They have to take it.
If they're already on another board or something and they've already taken it. Because people just, it's the financial disclosure form that usually gets them. Do they have to do that too? No, just the sunshine, that's good. Most of them just, I've had people quit boards because they didn't want to fill out the financial disclosure form. Just because well, I know, because they really didn't look at it. You really don't tell people things, but when you read it, it's very intimidating to look at it. I've had any number of people quit planning and zoning in years past, and also board of adjustments, because they didn't want to fill it out. Because they didn't read the directions. If you read the directions, it tells you you don't have to list the dollar amount. But they thought you did, because they just did a cursory review of it, and they just quit. So, yes, ma'am.
Is this a board or a committee?
It's a committee. It's a charter review committee.
Okay, I didn't think you had to, okay, that's fine, thank you.
Have you?
Sunshine law applies to
No, I
committees.
understand that, I didn't know you were required to take the class, you just had to know it, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it was committee and not board.
Yes, it's a committee. Mr. Will?
Should this charter review committee go, do something drastic, like change the composition of the board, make the mayor a voting member of the board, something, take 7 members, or do anything like that, they couldn't?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's like a chapter.
If I may add,
They can bring that to us.
the president pointed out, pardon me, she pointed out, they can't do anything.
Right.
They bring it back to the council, and the council looks at what they're proposing and makes the ultimate decision. Is that
It
correct?
first has to get past the council, and then it has to get past the citizens.
So the citizens actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it goes, every single individual point goes to referendum. That's another thing that the committee will have to remember. Do you think that the citizens will vote for that? And many times they have not. I think one time we put like 10 things on there, I don't think they passed any of them. Yeah. The committee, not the council, but, we thought they were good, that's why we allowed them to go forward.
But the citizens didn't agree.
But the citizens either didn't know enough about what they were voting on, which is part of our job, is to educate them if we think it's important, is to let them know why we think it needs to be changed. And obviously, we wouldn't put it on the referendum if we didn't agree that it was important. But it's all up to them in the long run. Okay, so we're gonna table that for now, and we're gonna be prepared to appoint our person at the next meeting. And anybody who would like to serve needs to let Latricia know or this body know, so you can be considered, even if it's for that 7th person. Okay, we'll move then to resolution 2022-22, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the State of Florida Department of Transportation's Public Transportation Grant Agreement for Financial Project Number 425471-2-94-22 regarding the Williston Municipal Airport Transient Apron, authorizing appropriate parties to sign any documents required to execute such agreement on behalf of the City of Williston and providing an effective date. Mr. Stevens.
Let's just slow those long intros. This particular resolution is a PTGA, or, Public Transit Grant Agreement between DOT and the City of Williston. Basically for the DOT's funding of the airship apron project. And we passed a couple of things dealing with the airship apron so far. This, the apron would be located currently where Mr. Mills has a hayfield right next to Mayo Fertilizer, or the same spot that the air balloon event was this weekend. We've already passed a few things with it. Unofficially, we were kind of told that the FAA was going to start pushing back on it simply because they didn't have guidance on it. And we will not execute this project until we get a notice to proceed from the FAA. But what the passing of this resolution would do would give us a stronger footing, saying that the FDOT has signed off on it, and kind of, force the FAA's hand with a little bit of help from one of our, local congressmen. So, again, we're not spending any money until we get FAA's approval. And if and when FAA does give approval, it will be a 100% funded project.
Any questions for Mr. Steele? I would just comment that, as he said, when you look at the dollar amount, this is the 10% from the state. The other 90% would come from the federal government, which is FAA. We knew that the pushback was there. Mr. Siegel prepared, along with the engineer, a very good chronological document that stated all of the things we've done that at their direction, that they gave us no pushback on, telling us that they, not necessarily that they approved it, but that they moved it to the next step in the process. When Congressman Dunn was here, we presented that to him as one of the items that we gave him that was important to us in asking why FAA was giving us pushback. And now that we have this from FDOT, we need to give this to FDOT so that he will have more ammunition to go ask FAA what the problem is.
Correct. And to be very clear about the FAA's pushback, our local representatives have been very helpful through the entire process, and they've actually, been on board with it. The only pushback that we've had have been from their superiors up in Washington, and so this kind of gives us an extra leg to stand on, along with the memo from Passero stating, the description of events and everything that has taken place up to this point. It's been about a year and a half, almost 2 years in the making for this particular project, with planning and other things here and there, for them to just come out of the blue and say, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore. Strictly because they have no guidance left or right. They just don't want to. So,
that was an excellent point that Mr. Siegel made, is they don't have anything that says they can do it, and they don't have anything that says they can't do it. Right. So they're just choosing not to do it at all. And that's not what we want to hear from them.
If I may, there was 2 resolutions that you suggested we have, so we'll be bringing another one back. I just need them, I've sent them an email saying, talk to me again about what that needed to look like, because I didn't grab all of it. Did you get, I didn't think.
Just that, I think this would probably do it.
That was one, but he said there was 2, and I don't know what the other one was supposed to do, so I'm trying to.
I think it's just the city being in support of the airship.
I just don't want to take a chance of missing it, so what next agenda, I'll figure that out.
Yeah, and I don't want to wait too long.
Right.
Because I don't want them to say positively no. Right now, they've said,
Right.
they haven't said no, but you can tell they're getting ready to. So we need to get this there before they do that. Exactly. Because then we're have to start all over again.
Sure.
So maybe we can send this and then send that.
Right.
We'll pass it. All right, so we have this resolution, 2022-22, regarding the public, apron, the mooring apron for the flight of the airship. And I would entertain a motion for the resolution. So,
I move that we approve resolution 2022-22.
Very wonderful, thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, sir. I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you so much.
thank you, ma'am.
Item F is discussion with possible action regarding a CD and a savings account at Capital City Bank. Is Mr. Bloom online? Mr. Bloom? I think you got me a little bit.
He thought I had it.
Mr. Mills, is Mr. Bloom online?
I don't think anybody's online, just a second.
I can speak to them for
Okay, so I know about it, but go for it. No, please.
it. Was, currently, we have 2 accounts at Capital City Bank. One of them is a savings account, the other one is a CD. And it's my understanding the council always wanted a presence with every bank we had in town, and that's why we've had it in there, but it's not really been active. So currently, we have about $8,700 and some change in Capital City savings. I have not gotten the information on the CD yet, I'm working on that, but tonight, our question is, do you want to keep that in there? Do you want to designate it for something? How do you want to move forward? Do you want me to go and put this in Drummond and start making it a viable account? Because right now, it's been eaten up with bank charges because it's inactive, and we don't want to see that happen again.
No.
So I'm trying to get I'm trying to visit all of our accounts to see what they're about, and.
Do we know where the money came from to begin with?
Right. Do not, I just know that it's just a regular.
I know it's old.
It's an old savings account, and we need to decide if we wanna keep it in there or not. And we have a CD, like I said, I don't even know the amount of CD, I list all our accounts down, just digging into all of them. So one of them's even a neighborhood revitalization in Drummond, we haven't done neighborhood revitalization in years, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up with what we've done. But right now, do you wanna keep this in here, do you want to, dedicate so much a month and let it grow? Do you wanna roll it into another account, how do you wanna handle this?
I kinda wanna know what Mr. Bloom has to say about it, what he wants us to do with it. If he knows where it came from, but he's not there.
I'd like to know where it came from,
He's not there.
to know what to do with it.
He just said that council has always wanted a presence in the bank, so they started this account.
That's true.
Right.
But there's nothing being contributed to it. That's just another one of those that we're trying to clean up and figure out what you reactivate, make sure that we're not losing anyone
Right.
financially.
Yeah.
I have a question. When I told you about this account, I asked you, since I was the last surviving person that was in that account as a signer, to have my name removed. Did that happen?
We are going,
Did that happen?
not yet, did you have it removed yet? She's got new signature cards ready, depending on if you want to keep it or not, we're gonna change it out, so.
Did we put any money into the account?
They reactivated it without me adding.
They actually reactivated even though they told me that I had to give them a couple of dollars to reactivate the account,
Yes.
and I was told not to do that.
There's a form you can sign that just reactivates it, because I recently did it on one of ours.
Okay. So currently, I am the sole signer on that account still, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make it very clear that I want to be notified when my name is removed from that account that they were taking $10 a month from us because it was inactive for years.
I have asked them to do that. As soon as signature cards come in, to notify you directly that you're off the account.
Okay. I have been patient because this has been going on for a while.
We need to
Okay.
figure out what to do with it, and then we'll know what to do with it. Are we gonna leave it there? Everybody in agreement to leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay, so just bring the new signature cards and we'll leave it there.
And we want to contribute to it so that it's not
Right.
Right.
Yeah, even if it's.
You don't have to contribute much, $10 a month.
Or
is
a dollar
enough.
a month even.
$1 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take care of it.
Either that or when the letter comes that says it's dormant, you have to go sign the form.
Right.
And I understand, because that was the first question I said, was where did the letter go to that said this was dormant? And I was told it was sent to the finance company, not to us. So, and I'll just say that, the city did not know that until Mr. Goodman walked in the door, and he had recently been elected, and they said to him, we have this dormant account, can you help us with it? That's how we knew it was there.
That's right.
So, and like I said, all the notices, all the, what am I trying to say, the, bank statements, everything goes to the finance director, and that's not here, so.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I do, if they didn't tell me.
So
I mean, I wouldn't want to be here either.
I do have a list that I think just needs to be cleaned up, so you're.
Exactly.
When I was the finance director and I had went through 2 audits, and we had never found the $8,000 that was sitting in the bank and the city didn't even know it existed, I wouldn't want to
He
be
knew it
here.
existed, we just fell off the radar, but I'm sure he knew.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to keep it, so that means we can put the 4 people who are always on every signature card, we can process that
We'll take care of it.
at your
Thank you.
earliest convenience.
Thank you for that.
All right, do we need a motion and a vote on that, or we just?
Excuse me, for the record, could you name those people, please?
Okay, for the record, the 4 people that are on the signature cards for all other accounts are the president, the vice president, the city manager, and the city clerk, whoever that happens to be.
Thank you.
For the record, did you need a motion to do that, Ms. Wright? Do they want to see a motion, don't they? I thought the bank would want to. Okay, so if you will, entertain a motion of some sort that we keep the CD and the current savings account in Capital City Bank. And make.
I move that we keep the CD and savings account at Capital City Bank as discussed.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Alright, all opposed say sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Alright, item G is discussion with possible action, adding an extra event to the Independence Day celebration. Mr. Cox.
Hello there. About a year ago, 5 of us went out to, Red, White, Blue Farm to watch a State Cook-Off Association event take place. As maybe a possible way to, for the city to host one along Heritage Park or somewhere like that.
For the record, most people were judges. They didn't go
We
for that
didn't go
purpose.
just to go, we were judging.
We were doing other things.
Eating our way through.
Jonathan and myself have been part of the State Cook-Off Association, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. The Williston football team has done it probably for about 4 years. And the reason why they keep going back is they keep making good money with it. That's why they do it. That was one of the people in the committee had told me that. So my thought process was, we do a parade. Why not bring people here earlier? Let's do a festival along the way. I know we have one out at the airport. I mean, not airport, but out at
Horseman
Park. But not everybody, after the parade, goes to Horseman Park, because people don't like crowds. And so I thought, well, let's have a festival, maybe even a State Cook-Off event, and generate some extra money. We're gonna get the people in town, which will now benefit restaurants, and then they get to watch the parade.
Who are we making money for?
Well, you know,
Because the city doesn't
a
make
lot of Christmas lights, new Christmas lights, or in addition to what we have, whatever we wanna take and do, whether it's a different organization. I know that we have the Peanut Festival, but we maintain our parks, and we should have more events out. We have Cornelius Williams that we can do out there, you know, do something. Once the splash park at John Henry gets you know, we can have events at different ones, but we pay to maintain them. Let's use them. So, you know, that was my thing is, we could have a festival, kind of like the Peanut Festival, all the way up for an hour, 2 hours prior to the parade. People go to the parade, they go to either Horseman Park, or they go to the high school, or the elementary school, or out at the airport. And I don't think it's gonna, to watch fireworks, I don't think it's gonna impact the food vendors out there.
I hate to be a negative person here, but just speaking for myself, I'm busy that day, all day long. It affects our airport crew, our city crew, our police department, our fire department. I don't know who'd be left to do it. Because they're so stretched now that we're asking for people to come from other cities to help us. Now, maybe something, I mean, even if you handed it to the chamber and asked the chamber to help you do it, they're pretty much stressed at the park too, and in the parade, getting they help us direct the parade. The chamber helps us direct the parade, and because there's probably 6 or 8 people that direct the whole parade, and they've done it for years. So those people are pretty much gone, because we line up in the park at 3:30, even though the parade doesn't start at 5:30. We're there at 3:30, and in the morning we're decorating stages, and we're getting vendors lined up at the ballpark. So I know, and I'm speaking for the utility department. I can't speak; they can speak for themselves. I think everybody is really stretched that day. Now, I think another day would be great. I just don't know that that day is a day that we have enough manpower to get it done. And that's just me. So, like I said, I hate to be negative, because I love events, and I'll be the first one there to help you, if we can figure out when or where to do it.
Mrs. Jones and Mr. Cox, can I speak?
Yes.
Thank you. We did think about that. That was, a big problem because we're exhausted. It's July and it's hot. However, the competitions, the barbecue competitions are almost 100% run by the organizations, the associations. There's not a whole lot that we have to do as staff. If we wanted to add additional things as the years go on, we can, but for the first year, since it is so close to the 4th of July, one of the considerations was to just do the barbecue tasting, bring people in during the day. If people don't want to stay after the parade, or if they want to get out of here, it'll be just one more thing for them to come and do in the city. They don't have to stay for 9 hours if they don't want to and do the whole thing. And I think that a lot of people do not go into the fireworks for all those vendors. We're not going to take any of those vendors, so it'll be separate. But from what I've learned about the citizens, a lot of people look at the parade and do the fireworks from outside Horseman's Park and go home, because by then it's hot and late and you're tired. This will be a way to bring them in during the day and give them something to do. And if it's not successful, we don't have to keep doing it. But we do have enough staff, I think, and volunteers who aren't involved in the other portions, the parade and the Horseman's Park, and I think we could do it if you want to try it.
Well, then, Lord, we need your help at the Horseman's Park and at the parade. I'm serious. There's
Exactly.
like
Well,
6 people running the whole thing.
Last year, a lot of the utility people were out at Horseman's Park, and I appreciated the heck out of that, because they had that thing going great. And with all the help and the watermelon.
I think I rode in the parade last year, didn't I? And then I went to Horseman's Park and I left because there was nothing, nobody asked me. It was run just very well. And they didn't need me. I played with you guys at the watermelons for a little while and they left.
Cut watermelon. Yeah.
But Latricia has that pretty much down, I think. She knows who her volunteers are out there. And, you know, we do have some more staff here.
Mr. Barber.
Mr. Barber.
So a lot of us don't have official duties on that day. I'm one of those, and so I was willing to volunteer if the council wished to do something. I wanted to point out that I have a different perspective in that I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, an 8-month-old, and another one on the way. And we're not gonna stay for fireworks at night. And there's a lot of people with young families, they're not gonna go after the parade and stay all night. And this is something for them to participate in possibly, that they could do during the day when kids aren't completely exhausted and needing to be in bed. So that was another demographic we were trying to attract.
I thought it was pretty crowded at Horseman's
I
Park.
started thinking you usually had 8 to 10,000 people.
Yes, that's
But-
a
And
lot
that's
of
the ones
people
that are
out there.
inside, and I can't see your little ones going to a steak cook-off. I see you going to a steak cook-off.
Right.
But like I said, if y'all think you have enough people to run it, we need your help other places.
I agree. I think something needs to be done all day long before to keep people in town, but do we have the manpower? Do we have the security? Do we have the police power?
Shut down roads and everything else.
I mean, it's bad enough the police department has to bring in from other cities. Now it'd be in
And I would
3 or
love to see
4 hours
somebody-
prior.
I'd love to see something happening in the
Yeah.
park every month.
Oh, gosh,
It's
yeah.
not that I'm against that, I would love to see something every month.
The promoter, the lady who heads up all around this area,
Right.
she was on a cruise. So, when she gets back, her and I are gonna get together, and, Donald and Jonathan and stuff, to get more of a layout that we can bring up, but they pretty much run it. They only need 3 or 4 volunteers to help them run that organization. I mean, it's done in a,
I've been to 2 of them, and they had more than 3 or 4 volunteers.
so,
They have a lot of community support.
Would y'all consider giving us an opportunity to get together to find out just what it would take just to do the steak cook-off, and then we'll talk festival and then.
And I would wanna know too, if they'll even come on the 4th of July.
well, since it's on the 2nd, they might. But again, that's gonna talk to the lady when, she gets back Sunday.
Ms. Bishop?
I can say that we did participate in one on the 4th of July.
Okay, so they do, some people will come on Fourth of July.
They've even done it recently in Brooksville for New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Well, I think
I mean,
we
they
already
had a-
have two in Williston, when they come for a third one.
We have one currently, and that's the football team. And then, yeah, they would, I'm sure we could probably get people.
Okay, so the football team just had it at Red, White, and Blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have it this weekend,
Yeah.
actually.
And it's somewhere else.
Yeah, it's at the.
Right.
That's
I didn't realize it was the same group, I thought it was a separate group. Still a football team.
Because I don't know if you've been to the high school when they shoot fireworks off, but that parking lot is packed.
I haven't, because
And
I've been
the
to
elementary
the whole
school,
park.
right, until last year, it'd been a few years since I've been out the Horseman Park. But being one who would go, because it's right around the corner from my house, the high school parking lot is packed. Elementary school is packed. Out at the airport, those businesses around Piper Cub, all in that area is packed. So I would say there's equally just as many people outside that there is inside.
Mrs. Jones, you'd be surprised at how many people don't stay for fireworks, because we have to get back to our horses and our veterans at home, and we don't stay.
I know, but they're talking about before the parade.
Right,
Not
before.
the fireworks.
Right, so that we can, some people like to go out during the day, the 4th of July, they like to be home by the time the sun goes down. A lot of us do.
All I'm saying is the same people are helping us all day long.
Right.
Those
No,
people are kind of off.
no, my argument is just that
I don't
people
wanna
like to
I don't wanna
do.
argue with you.
Oh, no,
just
I'm
saying
just telling you that a
people-
lot of people like to do stuff during the day that won't do the fireworks at night. That's all I'm trying to say. Give them something
And
else to do.
I'm more worried about the health
Yeah.
that we would not have because you have them, or that you didn't have because we had them.
Right.
Not to mention the police and the fire who are
Yeah, I work.
already stretched.
My point is the police and fire department, they
get 30 or 40 people to come from somewhere else to help them
Yeah.
because they're so busy.
I don't think something like that would tax the police department.
Well, if they're gonna close the streets down.
Well, we don't really close the street down for Peanut Festival.
Oh, yeah, we do. Just put phones up everywhere and have auxiliary people there on each end.
We could, still,
How many years have I been there?
we usually use Jimmy Willis and the Reverend until recently
Well,
we
that's
brought
it,
in a
y'all
couple. So it's not like a major event, as opposed to a parade.
Okay.
And I don't think you'd have near the crowd that you have with the Peanut Festival in the beginning.
Not the first time.
Not the first time.
No, there's no booths, it's just one thing.
So, personally, I like to, give staff a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
It looks like they've already been looking at it.
In other, when they've had other events, they've had it to where like $10, you get an armband and it's a taste of. So people can go around to those different competitors and try their steak. They can vote on it, whether they like it or not.
They did that at the other one.
Right. A couple of them that I've been out, they did
And been to two.
for $25 or $30. It was a baked potato dinner. The teams cooked the steaks, and if I'm not mistaken, Jonathan, didn't they have little cards saying that, your steak was prepared by
Yes.
such and such?
Yes, the team name,
And,
team name, what was on the bottom of the plate, so when you're done, you flipped it over, you know who did it.
and they made serious money just off of that one.
I would like to hear a game plan between the utility department, the police department, you and the planner.
Okay.
I would like to hear just a plan,
I'm
a
just worried
plan.
about manpower.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Come up with, and the police department, because they have to.
Yeah, that would be good, so we can see what we have to handle and address to make this work, so.
Right,
I'll be-
so everybody get together, get your heads together and come back with a plan.
The nice part too about these are one-day events. To where if you bring in like the Florida Barbecue Association, they're generally coming in on Thursday night, then they're there Friday, Saturday, and they go home Sunday, where it's stretched out more. These, they come in by a certain time, they get set up, you know, and it's timelines and they keep it. So, it's the fastest growing organization of this kind in the world.
Come up with a plan.
They also supply a lot of their own manpower. So, you're not full for food.
I'm all for food.
Councilman Cox, they're also selling dinners this weekend, and what I hear tell, the sales are pretty good. That's 25 a plate.
Last I heard, they only had 2 left.
Correct.
Yes, that was yesterday, they only had 2
I
left.
know, I was so upset.
Me too, that's funny.
So upset.
All right, so, gonna bring it back to the next agenda.
Please.
All right.
Okay.
Item number 6 is public participation. This is your second opportunity to discuss something on this agenda that is not on this agenda. There's a podium right here if you'd like to address it.
Linda Cooper, Williston. 2 comments. First off, I'm not here, I watch it on YouTube. I think y'all do a wonderful job on putting this out to the public. For those of us who can't make it, you can hear it, you can see it. So thank you, Aaron, great job. Then my second comment is, I'm going to read this because it's easier. It's about, it's for the record and transparency purposes. As founder and administrator of Spotlight on Levy County Government, I will not be paying the $61.95 for the additional information we requested for the 2021 Christmas gift cards. Request was not for documents, but for information that should have been provided to the public and City Council months ago. By no stretch of the imagination was the email Spotlight received from City Manager Gorman would ever be considered a report. It was much more of a sketchy history of a scrap pile. There were no answers as to who decided to sell the scrap pile behind the city barn and use the money to reward 38 city employees with $150 Tractor Supply gift cards while ignoring the police department, the fire department, and the airport employees. Those employees received nothing. Williston provided a list of employees who received the gift cards, but no details about who made the decision, what the process was used to select the employees, who received the cards, or why some of the employees were not included in the Christmas card giveaway. There has been no transparency or true report concerning the gift card giveaway, which left out employees as well as the taxpayers that put the bill. A better way to use the money would have been for a sign or marquee for the events that you've been talking about. So when the public drives by, they can see the council meeting is tonight, charter committee meetings tonight, whatever event. You could put that out there. There's many times that the office was closed. You had to walk up to the door, read the note saying we were closed due to COVID. If you're impaired, have to take care of somebody in a wheelchair, you shouldn't have to go walk up to the door to say, no, you can't come in. That money would have been better served being used for a sign or marquee and not for the personal benefit of the employees. It's really public dollars, and it shouldn't have been to select employees. It should have been either all or nothing, mostly nothing. That's all I'm going to say about this now. Spotlight will do a little bit more in depth on this, but I refuse to pay $61.95 for something that should have been reported on and revealed 2 months ago. This is bad on employee morale, and it's just bad overall business practices to do this. It was awful. It's embarrassing. And this was done in December, and this is April. We still can't get answers, and I am offended in today's age that I have to come in and pay for a hard copy when everything we received before was electronic, and you want to shut down the office because of COVID, but you want me to come in and pay for a hard copy for something that should have been revealed months ago? I'm very upset about this, but again, I do like what you do for the meetings and transparency. You're a model for the Board of County Commissioners, the City of Chiefland, County of Bronson, so kudos to you for that. I do appreciate that, but this other is very egregious and needs to be addressed, and there needs to be a public report of what actually happened, how we got to this point, why this money was not paid to pay for things to benefit the public. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Anybody else for public participation? If not, I will start with the announcements. Ms. Wright, do you have anything at this time? Oh, come on, I see that face.
Will you come back to me?
I will. Ms. Foley, do you have anything?
Nothing for me.
Ms. Gorman?
Nothing.
Mr. Cox? Ms. Robinson?
No.
Yes. Who are you?
I'm on.
Yes, you are.
This is right. In the future, I would like the agenda in paper form. I was trying to look at this agenda. I came here very early to do due diligence, and I couldn't find the stinking thing on Aaron's new computer. It disappeared. It was sent to my home and my other thing, and I forwarded it to here so that tonight I could come and review it. And I did not have the documents itemized about all of these things because I couldn't download the agenda. It may be hidden in that computer, but it's not available to me, so it's of no value to me. Okay? I would like to point out that I appreciate Aaron, who has put up with a great deal of adversity for me over trying to get these things ironed out in a manner in which I would have a chance to use them. And to Laura, who sat down with me and tried to show me how to do things. I am not a computer tech savvy person, never claimed to be. I will learn. It will be a process. In the meantime, I need paper. Okay?
Not a problem.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Shabola? Mr. Ross?
One more time, when we bring in the name we want in the election, who's it go to?
Just you'll name it. When we get to that item, we'll go around and ask who you want to appoint.
Or you don't bring that in already prepared?
You can if you want to.
Well, who do you give it to?
I would say just bring it to the meeting.
Next meeting.
If I may ask, just to be clear, this name that we're going to bring to the meeting, this is just in case you approve this resolution, right? This ordinance?
I think we will.
Because you haven't.
At this point stated that you're going to.
You came on.
Yes, it's,
I mean, I think.
Electronics
we have
do
to
not love
check
me.
The reason we tabled it tonight is because the names are not in it yet, and they need to be in it.
okay, so what I'm hearing you
Do you want to
say,
make comment? I see you playing my.
No, it's just, that was my understanding as well, that we were going to pass the ordinance
Okay.
next time.
so you're saying you're going to pass this ordinance?
I think we had consensus tonight that
Okay.
we want to appoint a name.
I guess we could change our minds next
Yeah.
meeting, but that would be something. wouldn't it?
Anything can happen. Okay. I will bring my person to the meeting incognito and let you know who it is when we're here.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Ross? Anything taken from staff before we close down? Chief Stroh,
Nothing.
we bid you adieu.
Thank you.
I
I'll hang out Friday.
I know you're gonna be hanging out till Friday, but we may not see you between now and Friday. So we wish you well, if we don't see you between now and then.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, oh, sorry, I forgot my motion.
That's a capital expense item.
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay. Are you sure? You just swallowed it, huh? All right, once again, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn, Tiffany Chief Stroh.
Yes, to stay? All in favor of the motion? I need a second to the motion. I have a second to the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will adjourn at 7:40 p.m.